Cowboy Jim, what an honor for me to sit in front of you. Oh, and Jay, I just so thank those people who are taking the time to pay attention to what we we hope is the opportunity to have freedom of choice in our country. Just so you know, I'm fully vaccinated, but the the deal is uh, the deal is I chose to be vaccinated. Well, it was kind of like a person wants to apply for a job, you better be vaccinated. And yet, I uh, I choose to walk away from anything to do with COVID, and I choose to speak to the inequity of politicians who are voted into power and soon come to realize that they don't really need to do much more until it's the next election, the time of the next election. And I am affronted by blackface, our prime minister, who is in hiding. I'm also affronted by the people who purport that there's grave risk within the communities of Quebec City now, Ottawa, Toronto, I think Winnipeg, Coots. Politicians, do you not realize that we Canadians are peace-loving people? And I'm no spokesman for anyone other than myself. I sit up here in Fort McMurray, site of the world's greatest natural oil spill. I have heard for several years how we're polluting, how we who are trying our best to clean up the world's greatest, largest natural oil spill. People don't understand the oil along the river, Athabasca River, here in Fort Mac, when the sun in the summer heats up the banks of the river, the oil just pours out from the ground naturally. And we as a people, Canadian people with a conscience, are doing everything that is possible to protect the environment, to enhance the environment, not through legislation, but through hard work. And I'm so proud to be a Canadian, a former rancher, and a heavy equipment operator in this wonderful little town of Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. And I listen to how people in the news speak against what we're trying to do because they don't understand what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to make it so that fish, birds, larger game, small game can function and survive in health when subjected to so much natural oil spilling into the rivers. And it's very much like our Canadian truckers. They are putting forth the idea that they want freedom of choice. You may be horribly surprised to find how many truckers in the convoys, the Freedom Convoy, already have had their vaccinations. But they're there for the reason that is our God-given right. Not to protest, but to have free speech. Even God gives us the opportunity to speak against Him, because it's free speech. Now, no one who's really very smart is going to spend too long a time picking on the Creator. It's rather silly. But we can, as a people, Canadian people, known throughout the world as being polite, respectful, and we are known, and we are respectful of God, country, mankind, nature. I have no insider information whatsoever. My family came from Ireland, and an awful lot of people in my family run truck. I particularly enjoy working in the mine up here because I know what the mine is doing, trying to implement a cleanup, a restoration of what nature, let's call it nature. Well, let's go a little further and say the condition of the land. Up here used to be something that was called Tar Lake, and that's because the lake was a lake of tar, oil, water, and it is remarkable. I believe the last count in the Fort McMurray area, in the mines, not outside the mines, in the mines, the land that had the oil removed from the sand and restructured in such a manner that sand and muskeg, we would call that topsoil, but actually it is really topsoil because that muskeg dried out, mixed with the sand, structured, will grow trees, and I'm pretty sure that it's somewhere well in excess of 2 million trees have been planted in the restorative action of the oil companies up here who are, yes, making a living, yes, finding a way to protect nature, really, by the removing of that oil and selling it. Hey, we're not stupid up here. It's really a remarkable thing when you can get to do something good, make $1 at it, feed your children. I don't have any children that are dependent upon me anymore other than through an emotional level. My kids call me all the time. I only have 2 sons. I have 4 grandsons. And I'll tell you this, what an honor to be a Canadian. What an honor to be able to step outside in Fort Mac, and that's Fort McMurray. Oh, some people call it Fort McMoney, because in our effort to clean up, as I said, the world's greatest natural oil spill, it wasn't a spill as much as it's an ongoing emanation of oil from the ground. And what an honor to step outside and breathe the fresh air, and to know that we as a people have contributed to something bigger than ourselves. Our Canadian truckers are doing that. They're contributing to something that is bigger than they individually, or as I individually am, much bigger. And I have this distinct feeling. It's not heartburn, but it's good for the heart to know that the average Canadian, and we are known as being polite, respectful, and all those things, and that is because, for the most part, we are. We truly are. We honor our Creator. We honor people of diverse belief systems. We need not go and try to change everybody's opinion. We just want to have the freedom of not only having an opinion, but of expressing it. Being able to say, consider what we say, because what we say is indeed backed up by what we do. That's a novel idea. In today's political correctness, isn't that a novel idea? So my fellow truckers, my family, none of us are political people. We're of Irish descent for the most part, a couple of English thrown in there just to help us be a little more humble. I was going to say that's a joke, but I'm not altogether convinced that it is a joke. I really believe that we have been given the privilege and the honor of living, of breathing air, of going to work. I'm only 72. I look forward to the honor of going to work, hopefully soon, and earning $1. It's called earning my keep. I am not a wealthy man. Dear Lord, if I were, I'd still be back on my ranch. And but it's going. So's the dollar. And but I breathe, and in my breathing, I honor my Creator, His Son. I honor our country, our fellow countrymen and women. My whole ambition in my YouTube videos is to make certain that no one forgets abused children and what those abused children have grown through and are unfortunately still growing through. Because those abused children will allow us the opportunity to ignore them or to pray for them, to do everything in our power to protect them, to stand against the tyranny of the abusers who pick on kids. And my concern in great part is with the women, well, some men, very few, but the women who try to find a life after abuse and or try to find a life while they're experiencing abuse. And it's a mission to honor God for me and to honor those kids of many First Nations, and to encourage people. Think about more than just yourselves. Think about those who have gone on before. Think about those who still hurt. All across Canada, I've been saying this for a few days now, and I have no insider information about the game plan of the Freedom Convoy. Freedom. Oh, I watch the politicians whine, and don't mean to be rude, bitch and complain. Because many politicians believe that they are the definitive answer to all our problems. We elected them. What they forget is we can vote them out. And that's where the true, real protest is going to take place in our elections in the future. Canadian men and women have long memories, and we're not apt to forget the denigration that has been heaped upon us by people, our own politicians, upon running out of information, data, truth, have called us racist. That wonderful Sikh man down there last weekend in Ottawa, oh, I hope I get to meet that man one day to shake his hand. He had been running a truck in Canada for 14 years, and he had enough guts to still live his life as a Sikh. I have enough guts to live my life as not a Christian, but as a man who chooses to believe in a creator, in intelligent design, in that creator's son. That's my choice. I do that. I walk in it. That's what I'm all about. I don't know if the politicians in Ottawa and throughout our land and further south, I guess, will ever wake up to the fact that we want peace, we want safety, security, we want freedom, freedom of speech. Our political leaders, they forget themselves, or they do stupid things like blackface, like a joke. People talk about Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, every life matters. And if you as an individual believe that you're more important than another, you're wrong. Because we are created equal. We are equal. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what belief system you have. Don't step on my toes, okay? And I sure won't be stepping on yours. I won't even tell you I think you're wrong if I chose to think they were wrong. It's not my place. But I'll tell you this, my vote's going to count. It's my prayer that it does. It's my prayer that you realize that your vote counts. You don't like what you see going on in Canada? You vote. You be peaceful. You be respectful. You honor the one you choose to call God. And if you don't choose, that's all right. It's your choice. But honor our Canada. Honor our people. All people of Canada. God bless you. God bless you. May his face so shine upon you that you realize the warmth in your heart and your soul and your spirit, like standing at a morning sunrise and the heat from the sun beginning to warm you up. Let the heat from the Son of the Creator warm you from within to without. God bless you now. God bless you now. God bless.